It's Friday, June 14th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On Barnstable Today, we celebrate Flag Day in the town of Barnstable, and Animal Control has some summer reminders for pet owners. Now, for a look at municipal and legislative notes. There's a traffic advisory from Barnstable Police this weekend. In and around Main Street in Hyannis, there will be road closures and detours to accommodate the Father's Day weekend events, including the car show, which closes down Main Street on Sunday. Join the West Barnstable Fire Department and Civic Association for their Flag Day celebration this evening at Meeting House Farm. Chief Maruka has more about the event.
Flag Day is an observance. We call it a holiday, but it's an observance. It's an official observance throughout the country, recognizing the uniqueness of our country and our flag and what it stands for. And it's been around in various forms. It's a holiday that kind of grew organically. It started with some schools in New York and I believe in the Midwest, and one by one states and cities started to adopt it throughout the end of the 19th and early 20th century, and then Congress got involved, and there we are. June 14th is now officially Flag Day, and it's not the type of holiday that other countries celebrate, really. I won't say that nobody else has one, because there's a lot of countries out there, but it is almost unique to the United States. It's certainly the holiday has developed around discussion of how our flag is a symbol of the original colonies with the 13 stripes and the stars representing each of the states, and understanding that we are a unique system in that each of the states is its own sovereign country and has its own sovereign authority, in that we voluntarily bound together into this federal system that other countries don't have. That's not really the same thing that's true when you go to other countries and they have provinces and states and counties. Those are subdivisions of their federal system, and we're different. Massachusetts is the sovereign. The power of the federal government comes from the states, not the other way around. And I think that's part of what should be recognized when you think about Flag Day, and that's why we have a flag that's designed the way it is to recognize those elements. Proper way to deal with the flag, it's changed. When I was growing up, you would have never worn any part of the flag on your clothing except for a uniform. And today, of course, people will show up at the 4th of July dressed in entirely flag clothing. You would have never sat on the flag, and there's flag seat covers. And so it's a moving target. What's appropriate and what's not appropriate. But I think, some of the pieces that have held true to this day are that you shouldn't display a tattered or damaged flag. And let's circle back to that, because that's a piece of what happens here at Flag Day in West Barnstable. And you have to display the flag properly on a pole. It should be lit if it's up at night. It should be an all-weather material if it's going to be up in the rain. If it's cotton or wool flags, it's a more traditional fabric, and it's raining, it should be brought in. It shouldn't be allowed to touch the ground. It should always be on the higher pole. If there's multiple poles, or if there are other flags on the pole, they should be below it. So if you could have the U.S. flag with the state flag underneath it, or the fire department flag underneath that, is kind of some of the general rules of it. And circling back around, when the flag is ready for disposal, one of the appropriate methods is burning of the flag. And we do a flag disposal ceremony as part of West Barnstable Flag Day. And that is a piece of it. It's gotten a little more complicated because now they make a lot of the flags out of nylon, and we can't burn nylon because of air pollution issues. But we will still burn the cotton and wool and natural fibered flags. We actually package up the nylon flags and take them to a crematorium and dispose of them that way appropriately. But another method that's acceptable under the flag code is to cut the flag up. Another method is burial. It's acceptable to bury a flag as a disposal method too. So there are options for people out there. Yes, we collect the flags year-round here at the fire station. So anyone that has a flag that needs to be disposed of and they can't take care of it themselves, they can just drop it off here. We actually have a drop box outside attached to the front of the building, and we have bags and bags and bags of flags here at the end of each year, sometimes thousands. We can, in a typical year, it's in the high hundreds. Some years we're into the 1,000 or 2,000 flags are collected here. We started the program. It's always held over at the Meeting House Farm, which is diagonally across the street from the fire station. Our basic pattern has been gathering of the community. We have some veterans groups that participate. We usually get a color or an honor guard from one of the various public safety organizations. Sometimes the sheriff's office or veterans groups will participate that way. We do a flag raising, we salute the flag. I give a long-winded speech to put everybody to sleep in West Barnstable, and then we do the flag disposal ceremony. And it's not a big ceremony. It doesn't run long. If people come, it's 40 minutes to an hour in length from start to finish. And it's usually a very nice time, and I think people enjoy it a lot. But I think it has meaning to a lot of people, and they appreciate that the village does this. It's a cooperative effort. We do this with the fire department, the civic association, and the Meeting House Farm. I'm going to say association or group that runs the farm these days. Yeah. On June 14th, Flag Day. No tickets necessary, no charging, free parking wherever you can find it. It is West Barnstable. We don't have any big parking lots, and it's fun. It's great for families. And come to Flag Day, and at 6 o'clock, and it's nice. It's fun. Come on by. Enjoy Flag Day. It doesn't have to be a solemn holiday. It is a little bit, a little tad to it, but we enjoy it and we have a good time, and we talk about the flag and the country and what it all means to us. And it's great for all ages. It's age appropriate for everybody, which is sometimes hard to come by these days.
Summer weather is here, and Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis has some advice for taking Fido for a ride, and more on those howlin' coyotes.
The weather has gotten much warmer fairly quickly. We waited a long time for summer to come, and it's now here. Those cars heat up real fast. With me today, Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis. We're talking dogs in cars. Now's not the time to take Fido for a ride, is it, Charlie?
No, it's not. It takes 3 days of good weather, and it seems like everyone wants to bring their dog with them.
Right.
Can't say that I blame them, because I like my dog with me too as much as possible. But when you leave a dog in a car, it can go up as much as 30 degrees, 35 degrees in 30 minutes. In
Wow.
10 minutes, we're talking an average of close to 20 degrees.
Right.
So-
So that's a huge amount of heat in a very short period of time.
Yep. When it's 70, more than likely you're talking 86, 89 degrees real quick inside the car.
Right.
And while, people tell me all the time, well, my dog stays outside anyway, that may be true.
Right.
But that confined space doesn't give them the opportunity to move around and cool off. They cool off through their tongue
Right.
and also through their foot pads. So if they're on the hot seat, it's going to be that much quicker that they cannot dissipate the heat.
Right. So what are some of the parameters for bringing your dog? So 60 degrees and under, or do you just not take the chance?
I suggest not taking the chance. However, with electric cars specifically, people can leave them run and lock the doors pretty easy.
Right.
There are some issues with doing things like that. I've noticed that a lot of people now, you have the automatic starters in the cars, and they'll run for 10 minutes or so. So they are inside a restaurant, and they'll go outside every 15 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, and they'll start the car.
Right.
We try to judge that. When I get a complaint, I'll put my hand on the window and see if it's cool or not.
Right.
And that's how I try to judge it. And I also take the inside temperature of the car, because I have a temperature unit that goes through, not the glass, but through the opening, and I can tell what the temperature is inside.
Right.
Okay. And the other big thing about dogs and cars, what I'm finding and hearing a lot about, is people just think they can break a window and take dog out. Well, under Massachusetts law, there's a process before you can do that. As a private citizen, you first have to find out if the owner of that dog is anywhere close by. If you can't find a person and that dog is really in distress, and I got to emphasize distress, at that point, you can call the police department and you can say, I'm going to break the window. I've searched for 15 minutes and I can't find an owner. They will automatically dispatch a cruiser or myself, hopefully myself. And when I get there, if that dog is out of the car, I can take possession of it at that point. My suggestion would be, don't break the windows, don't go crazy about it. Give us the opportunity to get there.
Right.
And let us do that part of it. Because liability-wise, I think that people are going to bring lawsuits and all kinds of crazy things
Right.
that can be avoided. Because, to be honest, probably 6 out of 10 times, that dog is not in distress.
Right.
And, we can avoid all kinds of legalities by just letting us do the job.
Right. So first thing is, if they can find somebody that belongs to the dog, to the car, search for that person automatically, or even at any point in time there, they can just call the animal control or the Barnstable PD.
Correct, yes.
That's great advice.
Yeah. And not them, 911.
Right.
You're better off to call a non-emergency number.
Right.
And of course, our office telephone number, it's all over town.
Right.
Just give us a call. We will get there as quick as possible. And if an animal control officer is not available, one of the
Right.
natural resource officers will stop by.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. Well, that's great clarification on that law. And then, boy, have we heard some crazy coyote screams and howls and woofs in the past couple of weeks. What's going on with the coyotes at this time of year, Charlie?
Well, they've had their young,
Yeah, they
and now
sure have.
they're leaving the den sites. We're getting reports of a lot of young, and of course they're training them. The parents are teaching them how to hunt, locations, and how to get around and do their natural thing.
Right. Have we had some sightings around town of some of these?
Yes, several.
Okay.
Osterville seems to be a very hot area, and I always attribute that Seaview Ave area and things like that, because they're seasonal homes. Coyotes move in because nobody's there to move them out
Right.
and disrupt their behavior. So this time of year, we do get a lot of calls with people coming down weekends to the cottages and things like that. So I always tell everyone, make a lot of noise, blow the car horn, get an air horn for a little boat or a sporting event. When you see the coyotes, disrupt them, make sure they're not happy, and that will make them go back further away from your house.
Okay.
Around Hathaway's Pond, we're getting calls about den sites out there, and supposedly there's been sightings at 5 in the morning, 5:30. I have not seen any pups yet, but I'll be vigilant and try and scope that out, because if they are within that walking trail, I would put up a sign to suggest maybe not walking the dog out there at this time of year.
Okay.
Now, they always should be on a leash back there, and everybody should pick up the dog waste and bring it back to the receptacle.
Right, that's what
Carry
it's
in,
there for.
carry out.
Carry in, carry out.
Yep.
And these pups, so how long does this kind of last, the pupping season and their training with mom and dad?
Normally, we'll see maybe a break in August,
Okay.
maybe the first, second week of August, but generally speaking, that they'll be gone by then, and they'll be all trained, and you'll just hear a lot of howls because they're calling each other, and then we'll have the fox pups to deal with.
Right.
We'll go through the same thing, but they're a
Right.
couple, 3 weeks behind the coyotes.
Okay, excellent. All great information today, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Okay?
Thank
It's
you.
always fun.
Every year, Channel 18 heads out to record the annual Flag Day event hosted by JFK Memorial Trust Fund Committee at one of our local schools. We take a look back at last year's event at the West Villages School.
I pledge allegiance
The 4th of July was traditionally celebrated as America's birthday. But the idea of an annual day specifically celebrating the flag is believed to have first originated in 1885. A school teacher in Wisconsin arranged for the students in New Wisconsin Public School District 6 to observe June 14th as Flag Birthday, because it was the 108th anniversary of the official adoption of the flag of the United States. On June 14th, 1889, a kindergarten teacher in New York City planned appropriate ceremonies for the children of his school, and his idea of observing Flag Day was later adopted by the State Board of Education of New York. On June 14, 1891, the Betsy Ross House in Philadelphia held a Flag Day celebration
bright blue sunny sky even more beautiful. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today and to present this flag to you. This flag is a very special flag. It was flown over the capital of the United States in Washington, D.C. And if you don't know where that is, ask your teachers, because they will certainly tell you by the time you're out of here. The flag was flown over the Capitol and then was taken down, and it was delivered to Hyannis, and the Boy Scouts from Troop 54 took charge of the flag and held it until the Memorial Day ceremonies at the JFK Memorial. At that time, the boys delivered it to the JFK Trust Fund Committee, and we have kept it in our good care so that we could pass this flag on to you. So it's a great pleasure that we present this flag to you and make sure that once this flag is flying out there, every time you go by there, just know that this flag was especially flown over the Capitol for you, and tell your parents and your friends and everybody else about the flag, because it's a grand old flag. And I'm going to present this flag to your good care. You got it in 2 hands.
Good afternoon. My name is Lynn Poyan, and I'm the chair of the JFK Memorial Trust Fund Committee. And I want you all to give yourselves a big round of applause. You are outstanding. You are shining like stars. And I want to thank Ms. Barth from her organization, because this is really one of the most spectacular Flag Day events that we've been to. This is my favorite day of the year, to come and see such pride and just your voices. I can't tell you what it does to me. It really does my heart good. And I have never seen such a spectacular program, individually colored. And I want to thank Bella for mine. She did a fantastic job. I'm here to present our 2018 scholarship recipient, Devin McDonald. And every year, the Barnstable High School gives us 3 students that we have to interview. It's a very tough job because they really give us outstanding students. But we knew that we were onto something with Devin, and then last week, on the front page of the Cape Cod Times, whose picture is there? 4-color above the fold, but Devin. So he, as a sophomore, started an environmental club at Barnstable High School. And as Mr. Gibbons told you, he's a graduate of West Villages. So just so you know, the sky is the limit for you too. And I'm going to turn this over to Devin, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Believe it or not, 12 years ago, I was sitting right where you are now. It seems like just yesterday that I was walking through the mural halls of West Villages, back when it was still called Marston's Mills East. Each day, my elementary school principal would start out the day with the same words: make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Over the years, I've done my fair share of homework assignments, after-school projects, and dreaded tests. But what has really mattered in the long run is taking his words to heart. Taking the time to discover both what I love to do and what I love to learn, so that I can make each day a great one. Striving to be the best you can be, both inside and outside of school, will lead you to success. But it is just as important to pursue your own individual passions. Finding for yourself what you love to do is the best way to make a difference in the world. One of the things I've done as a Barnstable High School student was to create a club at the high school so kids could work together to take care of our local environment. Last week we built a small vernal pool wetland for salamanders, frogs, and other small creatures to live, and for students to have a place to study that natural habitat. I know through your passion, determination, and hard work, you will all be able to make a positive impact in our community and the world. Thank you.
stay tuned next week for this year's celebration at the Barnstable Community Horace Mann Charter School. Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. Join the staff and friends at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center for the 7th annual Father-Daughter Dance. All children in grades 1 through 7 and their adult companions are welcome. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.